back again. You're welcome to Blue Bloom's Artwork channel. We sure do know what we do in this session, right? Yes. So this session today is on art discussion. So we talk art. We learn about art. So the theory aspect of art. And you're welcome to Blue Bloom's Art World once again. So this world is all about art. So we learn everything about art in this world. And there is always a content for everyone. Mommies and daddies, my lovelies, and even my super awesome teachers. So that way we can all work together as one. Awesome! So today's topic is on elements of art. Elements of art. So we'll be learning about elements of art today. Let's dive in. Welcome back again. Yes, welcome back. So once again, the topic for today is elements of art. So now for this topic, there is a pattern we're going to be having. I'm going to have series of episodes for this topic because it's broad. It's very, very broad. So I'm going to mention the elements of art today, just briefly define them, and then subsequently we talk about each element. Okay, so now elements of art are the basic tools needed to create a work of art. They are the core tools. Just like we have basic ingredients. So elements of art are the basic tools. They are the basic things needed to create an art piece. So just like flour, egg, water, milk are core materials, are core ingredients to the baker. Same way, the elements of art are the core materials, that are the core tools an artist needs to communicate. So without these elements of art, there is no way an artist will be able to bring out what he has in his imagination. There is no way he would be able to visualize it, to bring it out in a picture form. There is no way that sculptor will be able to sculpt. There is no way that illustrator would be able to draw. So elements of art are very, very important in the creation of an art piece. They are very, very important in the communication of an artist. So we have 7 major elements of art. Out that again, we have 7 major elements of art. Now, number 1 is lines. Number 1, lines. So that is the number 1 element of art. Sure, you do know what a line is, right? If you look around, is there anything you do without lines? In fact, when it comes to patterning, when it comes to fabric, when it comes to our look, lines are core. In fact, when it comes to the strand of our hair, you see lines, right? Line is defined as a moving dot. I personally love to define line as an extension of a dot. You have a dot. The moment you move your hand, making that impression, you're creating a line, whether it is wavy, whether it is straight, whether it is thick, whether it is thin, whether it is zigzag, whatever form it is, that move, whatever form that movement is taking, it's a line. And we sure do know. Can you write without a line? No, it's not possible. Okay, so now we definitely have different types of line, which, like I said, I will be mentioning when we start talking about these elements individually. So now I will be going to number 2. Number 2, and that is shape. Yes, shape. Now, shape is a flat area surrounded by edges. So definitely when we say shape, we are used to, yes, rectangle, circle, triangle, and so on. So now, when it comes to art, it's the same thing. Because remember, you use your lines to create shapes. Yes. So now it's the same thing. But now when it interesting is this. Now, for every object you see, there is a shape that object takes. So for example, I will use the commonly used example, which is the face of a human being. Now, when you look at probably your brother, you look at your brother and you say, oh, you have an oblong face. Now you can look at your friend, and your friend actually will be having a round face. Now, the shape you see on the person that has an oblong face will definitely be an oval shape. Now, the shape you see on the person that has the round face will definitely be the circle. I'll give another example, which is the starfish. Now, the starfish is called a starfish because of that shape. So the shape of the starfish is a star. Just simple, it's a star. So that is what it is about shape. So our second element is shape. And definitely we know you can't create anything, you can't draw anything without using shape. Good. So now we go to number 3. And number 3 is form. Number 3 is form. So now we can say that these elements are so dependent on themselves. So now you need lines to create a shape. Now for form is the shape an object takes. In fact, it simply is the three-dimensional look of an object, the three-dimensional form, the three-dimensional shape of an object. So form is that shape an object takes. So for example, now we just talked about somebody having an oblong face. Now the shape on that person's face is an oval shape. But now when it comes to form, now you're talking about the way that person's face is. Definitely, the person's face is not like basically oval. Like when you want to draw it, you just don't draw oval shape. But oval shape is that basic shape you're seeing on that form. So the basic shape now helps you to be able to put the form. So the difference between shape and form is that shape is two-dimensional, just length and breadth, while for form it is three-dimensional. So it has to do with the width, the height, the depth. So form is three-dimensional while shape is two-dimensional. Awesome, right? That's interesting. So shape is dependent on line, form is dependent on shape. Interesting, right? Okay, so that takes us to the fourth element of art. So number 4. And number 4 is color. Yes, color. So this is the most interesting element of art. We sure do know how important color is, right? Yes. So color is very, very important. So color is seen as the effect achieved from the rays of light. And we sure do know that colors, we have different types of colors. For colors, we have a lot to talk about. We have the types of colors, we have the classes of colors, we have the color wheel, we have uses of colors. In fact, we have a lot to talk about on colors, which we'll be discussing in the session for colors. So now we definitely know that you have used line to create shape, you have used shape to bring out the form. Now, when you have done this, you definitely need color to create differentiation and also to add aesthetic. So now aesthetics means beauty. It simply means beauty. So you definitely need colors to add beauty to that thing you have created with lines, with shapes and form. You have used lines to create shape. You have used shape to make that form. So you need colors to create that differentiation and also to add aesthetics. So that makes it so interesting. So now you can see that the 4 elements we have mentioned, lines, shape, form, and colors, they are so key, like they are so important. So now that takes us to the 5th element of art. The 5th element of art, which is space. So number 5 is space. Yes, space. Interesting, right? So you wonder, what has space got to do in art? It simply means the area around the idea, or the area where the idea is being created. So, and this is one element that is very, very important to the artist. You definitely know that if you're going to be using your lines, you're going to be creating shapes, you're bringing out the form, you're adding colors, you definitely are working on a space. You have that platform you want to work on. That platform is your space. So whether the artist is working on a 3D or is working on a 2D, your space is important. So for example, you're working on a 2D, which means that you're working on a flat surface. What you're doing is flat. It's having length and breadth. It's not 3D. So your space now is that thing you're doing, you're creating that idea on. So for example, your sketch pad. You're drawing on your sketch pad. Now that sheet you're drawing on, everything that has to do with that page is your space. It's the space you're using. So now when you draw a ball on that page, the ball has taken a space. Now the area around it is another type of space again. So we are going to talk in depthly on this when we have the session for space. Space is also interesting, right? You can see that for every element we have mentioned, every element is core. Okay, so now we go to number 6. The 6th element is texture. Yes, number 6 is texture. Yes, now texture. We definitely are familiar with texture as a word. So now texture is the surface quality of a material. So for example, look at the cloth I'm putting on. Now this part of the cloth is smooth, right? Though it's not glossy, but it's smooth. Now this part of the cloth is rough. Because of the net, it's a net material, it's rough, right? Now, when it comes to texture, just like I said, texture is the surface quality of the material. So when an artist or a creative is creating anything, texture is very, very important. And in texture, we have the tactile texture, and then we have the visual texture. So tactile texture is the real thing. Like when you touch it, just the way I'm touching my cloth, I can feel it. That's tactile texture. So now we have the visual texture. Now visual texture is the one that when you look at it, it looks like the thing is having texture, but actually it's just picture. You can only see with your eyes, or you cannot feel it. So when you touch it, it's all, if you look at this one, it's rough in the picture. You look at this one, it looks smooth. When you touch the two, it actually will be smooth. But when you look at it, it looks like you're seeing you can feel the real texture. We sure are going to talk in-depthly on this too when we come to the session of texture. But now you know that texture is the 6th element of art, and it is the surface quality of a material. Its core is key to every creative in creating a work of art, in expressing their ideas. Alright, so we go to the very last element of art, and that is number 7. And number 7 is value. So I'm very sure you'll be like, value? What's she talking about? Is that value like attitude? No. So when it comes to art, value as an element of art has to do with the effect of light on an object. The effect of light on an object. So for everything a creative is creating, light has an effect. Remember, we said color is the effect gotten from the rays of light, right? Is achieved from the rays of light. So also now value value touches the effect of that light on an object. So I'm going to give an example. For example, if you're standing by the window side and the sun, it's actually like a sunny day. Now you will notice that there's a part of you that actually will look so bright, and there's a part of you that will look dark. So also, for example, when we take pictures, which is why photographers don't joke with light, because there's a way they have to balance the light, or else you have a part of the picture having a lot of light, having that highlight, while you have a part of the picture looking dark, as if there's a shadow being casted on that part. So for value in arts, it is referred to as the effect of light on an object, and that is where we will be talking about light and shade. So we can see that value is very core. So I'm going to go through all the elements of art, and then we come to the end of the session. Number 1, lines. Number 2, shape. Number 3, form. Number 4, color. Number 5, space. Number 6, texture. And number 7, the very last, value. Yes, so we've seen now that we have just 7 major elements of art, and the 7 elements of art are core in art. They are core elements to every creative. There is no way you can do without one. They are all core in any creation. Awesome. So now we come to the end of today's session, and I trust that we've learned the elements of art today. So from next week, we'll start discussing each element of art individually. Find the content of my video interesting. You'll be finding it interesting. Please, 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 please don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and please, most importantly, don't forget to subscribe. Now, why you have to subscribe is so that you'll be one of the very first to see my content whenever I put up a new post out there. It also helps to create more awareness on art. There are a lot of people out there who sure do need this information, just as you do too, just as I do too. So thank you so much once again for always coming back. See you next time.